Hi FlossTube, it's McCleary Texstylust. Welcome to my channel. Hi FlossTubies, welcome back to my channel. Today is Friday, January 19th, and Happy New Year. I haven't seen you since my New Year's Eve video. I had hoped to do a video last Friday, but it just didn't happen. We have had, as many people in the United States, we've had some massive snowstorms, and let's see, I think we had at least 4 major snow dumps here. Probably a total of maybe 3.5 feet before the weather changed a little bit and it started sleeting yesterday, day before yesterday. We had a couple of snowfalls and it melted a little bit, and then a couple more snowfalls, and then the sleet and ice, and it's really just kind of yucky outside. If you followed me on Instagram, you've seen lots and lots of pictures. I probably put a few in the opening, and I'll put several and maybe some video clips at the end as well. Had some fantastic footage. We had a couple days, sorry, I have something in my eye. We had a couple days where we had frozen fog, which freezes to everything, and this time we had it with a lot of snow on the ground, and it really was spectacular looking, and it stayed for 2 days. I've never seen it happen. Usually if we get frozen fog, then it's usually melting within a day. We generally have like a clearing, and then you can, it just melts. But I got some pictures of it on icicles and on plants. I did brave the cold. We got down to, I don't know, maybe 11 below, it was below 0 several nights in a row, but there were some days where there really wasn't a difference of more than 10 degrees. It would be like -6 to 6 degrees. So it was very cold here, and just kind of snuggled down and did some reflecting and some planning and some stitching. Not a whole lot else because they're really, the roads weren't great, so it didn't go out a whole lot. So let's go ahead and get started. As I mentioned in my last video, I have been starting to plan and work on some sort of planner, goal, journal, something. So I have used the Book of Days for quite a while, and it works great, and I love it. I think it's very nice, but I wanted something that was a little bit more versatile, and I could track a lot of different things and carry it around with me if I wanted to. I am still not there yet, but I've gotten a little bit further. I have decided to start using, I'll call them stitch cards. I just made that name up on the fly. Stitch cards for tracking my progress and what I have in whips and what I have, what I'm working on, that sort of thing. These are also still a work in progress. I've kind of played around with size. I've decided that 4x6 is a good size for me. I did make them a little bit bigger, but they're really not going to fit into the journal type thing that I'm envisioning. So 4x6 it is, and I have put the information on them that is important to me. So, you know, they may not necessarily work for another person, but basically I'll kind of show you what I have. So this one is for Butternut House Pen Cube, and, you know, it has like chart name, designer, fiber, floss, all of that good stuff. When I started it, when I finished it, when I fully finished it, and then a lot of room for notes. And then on the back, I also have the ability to track when I've worked on it. I'll probably also track if I posted something to Instagram. That is something that I'm going to do. I'm going to try to do a little bit more. So you'll see more duplicate pictures, or not duplicate pictures, duplicate, you'll see more pictures of projects as they progress. Maybe not every day that I stitch on something. Maybe there might be a week marker, or if I picked it up and I stitched on it some marker, or I'm getting ready to put it away and not stitch on it in a while. I'm going to try to keep a photographic digital diary of sorts of where I'm at and what I'm working on for me. And then, you know, people will just get to see pictures as well. So this is my beta. This is my first round of doing these. Now, I know for things like my bigger samplers, that is not going to be enough. There's going to be more times than I have. So my plan is, I haven't finished doing it yet, but I'll make a card that opens like this so that I have more opportunities to write down. So it'll be a 4x6 that's folded in half. And then I also plan on having a place to put a picture. So right now, these are, you know, what's going to happen. Or if I've worked on a project and I filled out the card and I've run out of room, I may go and just put another card behind it and just attach them, or I may transfer it to a bigger card. Again, this is all a work in progress. I'm still figuring it out. But right now I am kind of liking this because when I pull it out, instead of me putting like in my journal that I would say I'm just using called for, I'm actually listing out the floss colors that I'm using. So if I'm using, I'm looking for a floss color that might be in a bag, I don't have to pull out the bag and unzip a bunch of bags, which I've done a lot in the future or in the past. All I need to do is pull out my card. Now, when I'm planning on this, again, this is still a work in progress. I'm still building this journal, but I thought I would kind of show you my idea right now so far. So these are from a pack from My Porch Prints. My Porch Prints is one of my favorite digital designers, and they're on Etsy. She's super reasonable. I really like the style that she has, and I have several already of her, like her journal kits. She has a lot that are sewing related. I have several of those. If you like to do any type of junk journaling or whatever, I suggest you go check her out. She is fantastic. She also has a YouTube channel. I'll put that down below as well, where she kind of either goes through a junk journal made with one of her kits, or just ideas. She also has a Facebook group that if you join the Facebook group, she posts a lot of freebies as well. Having said that, this is one, I think it's called Winter Wonderland. This is going to be this signatures cover. There's many pages in this particular kit. Some of them are lined, some of them are not. These are just what she would call pages in a kit. So you get many. You have the ability to print out what you want and what you don't want. And then I printed these front to back so that I could have a group of pages, signature pages. That's what I'm going to be sewing these together. So this will be part of a journal. But what I wanted to show you is I looked all over, and this is also how I kind of came to the 4x6. I looked all over for a die cut that I could use to cut out slots for pages. So I don't have this glued down because I still haven't figured out the order that I want to do these pages, and I haven't inked them. So I usually ink the edges, and I will crop the corners so that they're rounded because that's how I prefer it. But this particular one, I got this die cut, and if you're interested in that, I can also send you a link to what that was. But these, this is what I want to do, is whatever projects I'm currently working on, and I'll just put a couple in here so you can see. So this particular thing has slots. I don't know if you can see that. So I ran a piece of a printable that I have, and I cut it down and I ran it through using the die that cuts out this thing right here. And it's intended to be able to put in a journal and put pages in. So my 4x6 fits in those. So whatever I'm working on at the time, I'll have several pages where I can just have the cards of the projects that I'm working on. I don't know that I'll keep them in the bag with them. I think I'll keep them in the journal, where once I'm working on it, I will take it out and I will just mark on it that I worked on it that day. I will still have a calendar and I will still write on that calendar. I will have pages I know that I'm going to be writing on. I also plan on putting large pockets on these so that I can drop stuff in there that I may acquire or, you know, goes with these stitches. The other thing I wanted to mention, I don't have them printed out right now, that I took this same concept and I adjusted it a little bit for my quilts and for just general craft projects. And then as soon as I started using it, I figured out something else that I needed. But anyway, that's all I have so far. I will kind of take you along as I start building this, and I'll talk about what's working for me and what is not working for me. And it may all end up not working for me. The other thing I want to mention is, if you've watched my channel for a while, you know I have a significant amount of WIPs. I am not going to sit down all at once and fill out a card for every single WIP. What will happen is I will, when I pick one up, I will fill out the card, and at that time, until they're all filled out. I may, maybe sometime this spring or summer, I may sit down and grab a handful of an out of season and fill out a card. And I will have a separate booklet that I will have all of the WIPs in. So what will happen eventually is when I pick up a WIP to stitch on, all I need to do is go to my WIP card catalog, basically, and pull that out and put it in whatever notebook that I'm using at the time so that I have that to write on, and then I'll put it away when I'm getting ready to put away that stitch. I think that that is a process that will work great for me. I will still have something that says, here's the large list of WIPs, and I will still have something that says, here's what I completed, blah, 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 blah. But the writing things out is meaningful to me. There's some connection between the hand and the brain, and kind of thinking through it, and I like that process. Plus, I'll be able to decorate these. I think it will be really fun. So I'm going to pause here. My throat's drying out. I need to grab a drink, and then we'll move on to the next thing. Sorry about that. Had to sneeze, cough, and get some tea, all of that good stuff. Okay. The other thing that's going to be great, I'm just going to lean over here, is I think these are going to be, I think these are going to be helpful when I'm doing my floss tube as well, because, oh, and that's another card I'll have. I'll have a floss tube card, so I can keep track of what I give away and what I talk about and when it happened. I have been stitching, as I mentioned, and I thought I would go through what I've been stitching on. And the first one is, and I don't have these in order, so let me find it. Here we go. I was on a girls' Zoom chat with some friends, and I was very tired and I needed something easy to work on. So even though it's out of season, I picked up Stacy Nash Merry Christmas Pin Keep. I'll have to look for a picture to put up here because I don't have the chart cover in front of me right now. and did some easy stitching. And this is being stitched on a 32 count mystery linen that I tea dyed, and I'm using DMC 221. And it was a very easy stitch. I got a lot done on the bands, and that was nice to stitch on. So that was one evening of stitching. I also did get a little bit done on Blackbird Designs Christmas Garden. I had mentioned earlier during my Vlogmas that I was hoping to get at least the border done, and I got a little bit of progress on that. And last time I talked about this, I said I had did this, I'm doing this on a hand die. That is incorrect. So when I went back and looked, because I was filling out my card, I had originally started it on a hand die. I think I'd started it on a 32 count. I got rid of that because I wasn't liking it, and I'm doing this on a 40 count. Looking through my cards here, I'm doing this on a 40 count Lakeside linen that is vintage pecan butter, and I got all the way to the right side. And that went pretty easy. Some of these that I'm picking back up that kind of sat for a long time was because it was when I first started stitching, and I was really kind of intimidated. I was a lot intimidated by the size, and they looked complex. And now that I've stitched for, gosh, what's it been, 5 years now? 5 years with a year off when I was doing the cancer thing. But, you know, they're all X's. They're not complicated. They're not hard. They may be bigger, but they're all X's. So I'm not as intimidated. I looked at this and it's like, oh, that's a super easy border. And so it did go pretty fast. I hope I didn't have a miscount somewhere. And I find those a lot where I pick something up after I haven't stitched on in a while and find a mistake, which I'll show one that happened. But I'm stitching that on the 40 count, and then I'm using, I did change the colors. I'm using Briar Rose and Victorian Motto Log Cabin, Heirloom Gold, and Forest Glade. And those are the colors that I'm using. So they're pretty rich. Okay. The next one that I did some stitching on, this was the one where I finished stitching around the border, figured out that I had a mistake and I was 2 stitches off. The border did not meet, and I thought very seriously about fudging it. But because of where the mistake was, it was over here. It's about right here. That part of the border was going to look funny. I wasn't going to be able to center the flower in there. This was going to be off. This side was off. So I spent yesterday unstitching, including the berries. This part of the border all the way across, I unstitched that, I unstitched that, and I've restitched it, and I'm almost done restitching the vine part of the border. And this, oh, I'm sorry. This is Winter Rose Manor by Brenda Gervais. And I am doing this on a 40 count hand die that I dyed myself. It started out as, here, let me put something behind it. It started out as platinum, and I over dyed it. So there's my progress, my unprogress, and my reprogress. And I'm probably going to spend some time stitching on this for the next couple, 3 weeks. At least to get the border done, maybe more. This one's really been calling to me. It's to me like the perfect winter stitch because it has some beautiful colors. Honestly, even though it's a winter one, I think this is something that's going to stay up all year round, and I really want to get to the companion piece. So I don't have the floss colors with me. I am using the called for floss. They're hanging over there on my stitching light, and I'll probably be stitching on that after we're done. The next one I'm going to talk about, so last video I talked about goals, and I have specific goals for each of the bedrooms. And then I also mentioned that there were a couple of samplers or a couple of stitches that I absolutely wanted to get done this year. And this is one of them. And it is the Butternut House Pinky by Stacy Nash. And I started this one back in 2022, early in the year. I'm stitching this as a paternal sampler for my son's paternal line. And this is where I'm at. This is blank because I'm going to put in a different name. I'm also going to put in something different than Butternut House. I'll explain that when I get closer to it. I've also decided I'm probably going to remove the feet from the pot. I am going to leave the pumpkins, but they're not going to be jack-o'-lanterns, and I want this to look more fall and less like Halloween, because it's really not, for me, it's not intended to do that. But I absolutely want to get this done before October of this year. So this is part of the goal, part of a goal. And I'm doing this on 30 count weeks Die Works gray with the called for DMC and 1 weeks Die Works, which is a charcoal. Okay, so that's part of the goal. And it has its own card. The 13th came along and I worked on Jack's Bash. This is by Plum Street. Sorry, Paulette. This is Jack's Bash. And I tagged along with Katie from So Tattered and Olivia from Pumpkin Hollow Quilts, and I'm stitching this on the 13th and the 31st of every month. If there's not a 31st, I'm doing it on the last day of the month. And I did get some good progress. This is when I also had to do some unstitching. I had to completely undo this part because it was 2 stitches over and restitch it. So I'm happy that I'm back on track. I do hope to get this done, to have it framed by October 1st as well. I have kind of looked at the chart and divided it up to tell myself how much I have to have completed every month, and I'm on track so far. This is being done on, well, let me get my card out here. This is being done on 36 count, picture this, plus bramble, using the called for floss. So that was one of my commitments that I made to some Stitchy friends to work on that with them. I didn't commit to getting it done. I committed to working on it. Okay, so this is a new one to show you. I haven't been following the rules about one red thread for quite a while, so I did start a new one, and I'm loving it. The first couple days of the one red thread, it just seemed like that one thread was too long. It was way, way, way too long. But I now whip through that every morning, and I really enjoy it. And this stitch is called Amaswa Chérie, which is French for my dear sister. I believe that is what that translates to. And it is from Reflet de Soie. And I am stitching this on a 46 count vintage, Lakeside Linen vintage cedar plank. This is barely gonna fit on here, but this was the perfect color. This is exactly what I wanted to do. And I'm using the Versace Silk 103s in number 681. And this is my progress. I have about 5 more of these little doodads to go over here. And I had to drop down and do that beautiful A. I am super enjoying this stitch. It's going to go into the French general bedroom, and I think it's just the perfect colors. I love it. So really enjoying that. I love the color combination of, here's the thread. I think I'm gonna have just enough of this one spool to finish the entire, it will take, oops, it will take this entire piece to finish it. Okay, so that's my one red thread, and that was something else that made me realize I needed some optional cards. So this is not going to be enough, and I really need more of a checkbox on the back where I'm just checking off the days that I'm doing it. So far, I have not missed a day, but there have been a couple days where I put in 2 threads, so I wanted to track that. But that's my one red thread, and that's going very well. Next up is a sampler that I had intended to make my focus sampler this month. And about a week into the year, I was stitching on it, figured out I had a mistake, and I unstitched a big section, and then I restitched it, and then I figured out I had made another mistake, and I unstitched it, and then I went in timeout. But I am stitching on it, Katie. So this is Isabella Johnston, and that's by Needlework Press. I am trying to stitch down the side so I can get over to that cow. I am definitely eating dessert first on this. I want to get to the cow. I want to stitch the cow. But maybe the sampler is telling me, because I kept making mistakes here, that I need to eat my vegetables first. But this is being done on a 40 count Saltbush Fox and Rabbit. And you can see I have a thread in here, but I had stitched all the way down and past that to kind of get down to where I could go over and get to the cow, and along with the leaves. So I had to unstitch all of it, and I gotta stitch it again. There is some floss on there you're probably not seeing. It's a little ghosty. It's like that on the sampler as well. It's very pretty in person, but it's a little bit hard to see on the camera. But I am enjoying this stitch. I really like the red. I think it's Poison Apple. Yeah, so Poison Apple it's highly variegated, and it goes from a dark rusty kind of brown red to a pink, which is great. But you do have to, and the pattern calls for this, the chart calls for this, you have to divide it up, so where you're using the pink part for one symbol and the red part for another symbol. I didn't read that very closely. Otherwise, I would have cut my floss a little bit differently, but I'm working through it. I almost decided to change it out for a dinky dye. Excuse me. But that really wasn't the right color, so I went back to the original. Sorry about that. I had to pause again. You know, once you start recording, the voice goes, the nose starts itching, all of that stuff. I am doing a whole lot better than I was. Whatever I had really hung around for a long time. Feeling so much better. I do have a friend though that is not. And then my son texted me last night before last. He has COVID. It's terrible. Anywhoosie. The last one I wanted to show you that I've been working on is Warm and Cozy. Actually, there's one more that I'm going to show you, but I'm not sure where it's at. I started this on New Year's Eve. Yes, I started this on New Year's Eve, and it's a Teresa Kogut. This is currently available only through her Patreon. This is one of 6 that I pulled out that I thought would be great to start or work on during the winter, post-Christmas winter months. And I'm doing this on a 40 count Picture This Plus Dapple. And this is where I have gotten so far. These are the flosses. And sorry about that. These are the flosses, and I am just loving this. The color combination of the dapple and the red is perfect. And that little snowman is so darn cute. He's just adorable. So I did get a start on that, and I'm using, did I say I'm using the call for DMC? I'm using the call for DMC. There's a sampler that I'm missing. One more pause, hold please. Okay, I feel very unorganized. The more organized I try to get, the harder it is. The other sampler that I wanted to mention that is, for me, a must finish, and I'm hoping to finish it before the end of August. And this is one I'm doing for my grandmother, and it's called Roses for Ruby. This is a Scarlet House, and this is where I'm at. Put something behind it. So she was born in 1924. This year would have been her 100th birthday. And I started it on her birthday in 2021. And I am doing this on a 36 count weeks aspen, which is a beautiful color, and I did a color conversion with mostly Victoria Motto and some color and cotton. If you're interested in that color conversion, let me know. I think the original one is just gorgeous. I think at the time that I started this, I started it, I made a decision on her birthday that I wanted to start it. I went and pulled floss, and this is what I'm doing it on. So this is another goal that needs to get done this year, hopefully before her birthday month. Get it done before or on her birthday month in August. Okay, I did not stitch on that. Everything else I showed you I stitched on, but I did want to mention, because I'm documenting and committing that needs to get done this this year. Okay, so when we last met off, I don't recall if I talked about it in my New Year's Eve. I don't think I did, because I ordered a bunch of them and I don't think I had gotten them in yet. But this big stack over here, I'm not going to get them down because they're heavy. These are the Spirit of Christmas. Remember, I showed a lot of those during the during Vlogmas. And I've since purchased several of them for anywhere from a couple dollars to maybe up to $4 or $5. They do go up to volume 14. So there's at least 14 volumes. And I also found something called the 20th anniversary, which is a compilation of those. And I picked that up. Also, as part of what I was finding, there's several series, but there's also a series called Christmas Remembered. And I picked up several from Christmas Remembered, Santa Remembered, Christmas Portraits, Once Upon a Christmas, and Down Santa Claus Lane. And Down Santa Claus Lane is a fantastic book. If you have it in your collection, go pull it out again. I think you will like looking at it again. If you have not seen it, I ended up with a duplicate copy because I bought some at the local Habitat and I had ordered some online. I was not going to leave this there. I think they were $2 and all Christmas books were half price. So I ended up with a duplicate, which is fine because then I have a giveaway. So that is going to be this video's giveaway. I'm going to show you just a few out of the book, and then we can move on from Christmas this video. Look at that one. That's definitely going on my list. I love that one. It is so pretty. There is an amazing amount, and it's all cross stitch in this one. This one doesn't have the recipes and everything like this. This is all cross stitch. There's a couple of stand-up Santas in here. Let me see if I can find them. There's some tiny ornament size ones in here. Here's the stand-up Santas. Very handsome. They had done it in a couple different colorways, in the red and the blue. I know there's more than that I lived in here. Oh, this one. This, I think, was from recreated from a vintage postcard. Look at that one. And none of them are exceptionally big. I mean, some of them are pretty dense in their coverage, but none of them are exceptionally big. So they're, for those of you who like to do a lot of patriotic, there is a bunch of patriotic Santa ornaments in here. And let's see, I know there's at least one more in here that made it onto my list. Oh, this one's called Humble Visitor. I love the old world Santa on that one. That one is pretty much full coverage. It's just a beautiful book. Anyway, I'm giving away this book. Again, I am very sorry, only United States because of shipping. But if you are a public subscriber and you are interested in this book, you please drop a comment down below and put in Santa. We'll put the whole thing in. Down Santa Claus Lane, just like that. You don't have to put it in a sentence, but if you like to, that's fun too. I love reading those kinds of comments. A couple of people mentioned from the last giveaway, which I'm going to announce the winners later in the video. The last giveaway, they're like, this is really hard to put all of this in a sentence and have it make sense because we were all over the place. We had Santas, we had watermelons, we had spring. So anyway, so that is this video's giveaway if you're interested in this book, and I will send that along so someone else can also stitch those. I did want to mention while we're here that I never did get contacted by the person who won from prior, gosh, this was right after Thanksgiving, basket full of wintertime. I did not get a contact, so I'm going to do a speed giveaway, I think is what they're calling it. The very first person that comments on there, again, you have to be a public subscriber, who says, I want basket full of wintertime, again, just in the United States, I'm sorry, I will send this off to them. So, okay, what else have we got here? Oh, besides these beautiful books, when I was at the Habitat for Humanity, there was another book that was there that I had to pick up because it was, I think it was 50 cents, $1 or 50 cents. And it's a pattern book, and it's a pattern to make these adorable little ones. And these are based off the Brambly Hedge, which I guess is a children's book. I am not familiar with that particular story, but the illustrations are delightful. And these little ones are just as cute as they can be. Look at the bustle on her dress and her hat. So this book is a pattern book on how to make these little ones. I'm sure you can probably find it on the secondary market. It's published by Philomel Books, and just super cute. So that was an acquisition, and I have a few more acquisitions to share with you. I belong, as I mentioned many times before, I go to a Tuesday Stitchy group well, I go about every other week because it's kind of a ways for me to drive. And there's a smaller subset of us that are cross stitchers, because there's knitters and cross stitchers and wool applicators and quilters, and talking about rug hookers joining us. So we have a really great group, but we have a smaller subgroup of that. And when this came out as a stitch through Hobby House, we all wanted to stitch it. So we put in a group order. And then because we were putting in a group order for this, we decided to do a group order for a couple other things so that it could all come at once and we could save on shipping. But I got the kit from Hobby House for the Stacy Nash exclusive As the Crow Flies Pin Keep, because that is definitely right down my alley. So I got the pattern, the The kit comes in these beautiful little zipper bags, which are nice. So I have all of the, linen, I have the floss, and super happy to have that. That was a great thing. And it was kind of fun, you know, doing it all together. I don't know if we're going to have a stitch along together or not, but we were very excited. So this was the initial part of the order. And since we were making a large order, because there's 6 or 7 of us, I asked about ordering these, which I also was really, really wanting to stitch. And this one is the Mary Alcorn 1764 sampler series. So we ordered, several of us ordered the drum kit with the linen and the floss came in this. And then we also ordered, did I put it in there? We also ordered, I think I dropped both of them in here. There we go, yeah. The scissor holder. So I have the spool right here. Isn't that beautiful? Goes lovely in my home. This is going to go right next to my Stitchy chair. I have a couple other things that are there, but that's where this one's planning to go. So got those kits as well. We ordered them, and I know that there was a ton of orders, so it was a wait, but it was not a big deal. It was not like we don't have other things to stitch. So, but those came in, and it was like a little mini Christmas, and that was wonderful. So that was another acquisition. And what else? I know I have something else. Oh, yes. Okay, so a lot of FlossTubers, particularly Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch, has been on a knitting kick. Now, I can knit, kinda. I have 2 or 3 projects that have been languishing because I just haven't picked them up. I'm a very new knitter. I don't know how to fix mistakes. That's my biggest complaint. And then I developed a bad habit of how I did my purl. I would always twist my purl, which means I was doing it wrong. Maybe that's a better way to say it. So I was determined. I had made a mistake on a project, and I ended up unraveling it completely and rewinding it. And I wanted to retrain my hands and my brain to do my purl correctly. So because there's so many knitters, experienced knitters at my group, I brought my project and they sat with me, and I recast on this project. Let's see, here's the project. I recast on the project, very simple project, and they sat with me while I learned to do the purl the right way. And I've been sitting and doing a little bit, very little bit every day. And you know what? Is this the right one? This is not the right one. Hold, please. Okay. So they sat with me and I recast on my project, and they made, I had to show teacher every time, am I doing this correctly? Am I doing this correctly? And I got through a couple of rows, and I've been working on it a little bit so that I can retrain my brain. Now this is the perfect project, I think, to really get that cemented in my head. It's just knit one side, purl the next, knit one side, purl the next. And it's a church mouse project, and it's called the Easy Folded Poncho. This is what it looks like. I'm doing the one with the cowl, and it's basically a rectangle, 2 rectangles and you stitch together the shoulder. No, I think that's all I'll show you because I can't show you the whole pattern. I'm doing this with a, I know this is alpaca. I think this is 100% alpaca. I'd have to go back and find the, I have all of my cakes put away, but it's this beautiful taupey brown alpaca, and it's just lovely to work with. So I have I have very little progress, but it is nice to switch to this when I am tired because I can see this a little bit better. And it's not such a strain on my eyes like doing 46 count. And I think I'm going along okay. I don't think I've made any mistakes. So yeah, I have a knitting project, a couple knitting projects. I have a couple more that are put away, but this is the one that I'm working on. I have it in my little box that I bought in Amana at the furniture store. I actually bought this for cross stitch because I thought I could put my my scissors in there, but I've never really used it for cross stitch, but I do like it because it has a handle. It's nice and deep. It's beautiful to look at. I forgot to put my yarn through there when I started it, but this is where I'm keeping it, which keeps the kittens out of it who are very interested in the yarn. We're going to have to teach them that that's a no. Okay, I'm looking around and I have two more things. I am going to do the giveaway, but one more thing before that. I wanted to show you a little bit of spring. It's not really spring. It just reminds me of spring. So, you see these little guys here? Every one of those seedlings, someday, I hope, if nothing goes wrong, will be a Meyer lemon tree. And you can grow these indoors, the whole tree indoors all the time. So I have mentioned before, we have a group here in my area called Buy Nothing. And every once in a while, there's several of us that grow things. And there will be, you know, do you want this plant? Do you want that plant? Do you want cuttings? Or someone will do a wish that says, I'm looking for blah, blah, blah. But someone had posted on there that they had pulled a lemon from their tree and they had seeds from the lemon that they used, and was anybody interested? And so the second time they did it, I jumped and I got it. And I thought there was only 10 seeds in there, but I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 11. There's a couple of them that are very tiny. They're just starting. And I've been reading up on it, and it says once the seedlings have 3 leaves, like this little guy right here, that you can transplant them, which I'm going to wait until all of these have 3 leaves before I transplant them. But I am super excited. Now, it's going to take a while for them to grow up into a tree. And I think I read it takes 5 or 7 years, something like that, before they will blossom out and bear fruit. But you can totally grow them all indoors. And this is my little bit of spring. And they're very healthy. I'm very excited that they're growing well. Now, if I can keep the cats out of it, they seem very interested in this one. I think I'll at least get 1 lemon tree, but maybe 2. So I'm super excited about that. So a little bit of spring, a little bit of green. Okay, so time for the giveaway announcements. I'm going to announce these, and I will also put it up on the screen, the person's name, in case I mispronounce it. And so let's see, what do we have here? The first one was the Prairie Schooler Santa, and this is 2009 Prairie Schooler Santa, and Julie Scholes, 5798. Julie, you have won that. Please contact me. Send me an email at my email address, texstylust@gmail.com, that I'll have down below, and give me your address, and I will send that off to you. The next one was Spring Fever, and this was Blackbird Designs. And the winner of this is Peter Brown 2305. Now, I know that the person's name is not Peter Brown, but that's the name of the channel, or the name on the comment. So that is for Peter Brown 2305. And the Watermelons for Sale little table runner kit. This one goes to GRMANAT I'm not sure what that's short for, but GRMANAT. I'll put it down below. You have won the watermelon kit. And the winner of the Quilting in the Garden book by Blackbird Designs, this is an out-of-print book, is Kathy OK. CATHEYOK. And this is the one that has this quilt in it. And so Kathy, send me the email from down below and I will get this off to you. I am participating with Olivia B in making the Blackbird Design Raven quilt, but I'm also going to be making, oh, let me get here. I'm also going to be making this, the peppermint and holly quilt. And right now I'm in a quandary because I'm going back and forth between colors. Now, I originally had thought that I was going to put this in the cottage bedroom, but I think it may end up in the French general bedroom. So my quandary is, do I stick with these very deep bright reds, or do I go more with a French general red and French general fabric? So I haven't decided yet, but maybe not in the next video, maybe a little bit beyond. I'm going to have a little segment on where I'm at and what I'm doing on this quilt. So if you're interested in quilting along with me, or following along with how I'm working on that, drop me a comment down below and let me know so I can kind of gauge the interest. Olivia is doing some fantastic videos on her process of preparing and cutting out and tracing. I'm not going to be doing quite the same methods on hers, on this one, as she is on hers. So if you're interested in me doing something similar, probably more around process, let me know, or let me know what you are interested in seeing. But I am going to be working on this quilt this year. Okay, I think that's everything. That was a lot. It's been a while, you know, it's been 3 weeks, a little over 3 weeks since I did a video. So gosh, I felt like I'm out of practice again already, even after doing so many of them in a row. I will see you in another 2 or 3 weeks, and stay tuned if you would like to see some really pretty winter video and pictures, and I will see you soon. So bye-bye till then.